When every call queue feels like a pressure cooker, what keeps PSAP teams from boiling over? In this episode, we're going to explore tested stress management tools that centers and telecommunicators can use. With zero fluff, we've got some strategies that actually work. That's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch, I'm an EMP, and each week I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes a bit controversial takes on public safety. Today we're tackling stress, coping, and surviving the busiest days in the center. What are some of the common causes for stress today? High call volumes, traumatic events, understaffing, and shift fatigue. And many times, all of it colliding in real time. You ever feel like your brain auto-zooms to the worst-case scenario during the peak? Well, you're not alone. Then you've got the simply unavoidable triggers. Many times, some days just suck. You'll get hit all at once with sudden call surges, active high-stress incidents, or even multiple technology failures at the worst possible time. But remember, these things just happen, and knowing this and preparing, you'll have some loose game plans that may help lower the overall impact of the chaos. Identifying the triggers and then detecting when they occur. You need to understand and get in tune with your environment, as well as yourself and your peers. Are you noticing racing thoughts, clenched jaw, or tight shoulders? That's your brain waving the red flag. Stop, breathe, and label what you're feeling out loud. This is stress and not me faltering. Next is the development of some in-house support mechanisms. It's well proven that creating quiet or de-escalation rooms can be lifesavers. Literally, having a designated spot to pause, breathe, and reset are great, but don't forget to make sure that you've got the protocols in place that encourage their use and help stress staying away from that tipping point. Quiet room timeouts or just going home. There should be no shame in taking some time out in the quiet room. But what do you do if that room is taken or you're just way past that point? How do you enable an employee to take the rest of the shift off when warranted? Remember, they're not broken. You're just helping create a smarter boundary that will ultimately enable faster recuperation and return. Then we come to peer support and stigma. Unfortunately, you're still likely to hear cryo room wimps or similar comments and jokes. And that shouldn't be tolerated. Instead, position peer support avenues and check-ins as positives, framing them as points of strength and not weaknesses. Eventually, culture will shift with every "I've got your six" moment. Then there's the importance of recognizing denial. Denial will hide in very dark corners. "I'm fine," your voice says, but it sounds like a relay dubbed ghost. Establish a self-check routine for yourself, maybe a 5-minute break, followed by a real talk with a peer, and doing that in an environment where there's no judgment. And finally, establish a reward-based recognition and self-help policy. While managers can build small incentives like coffee vouchers and quiet room hero badges, what about you? Don't wait for a supervisor or manager to recognize that job well done. Find a way to acknowledge your own calm response to chaos. Figure out a way to celebrate surviving yet another tough shift. Eventually, your manager will recognize their own lack of attention and hopefully remediate their own lack of response. That wraps up another episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening. For more updates and insights, be sure to follow me on social media at Fletch911. And remember, you can visit 911tips.com for a complete archive of my previous episodes. Stay safe. Thanks so much for listening. And if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every day. day. This is Fletch. I'll catch you next time. Take care.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.